So I have no intro, so let's just get started. So if you've been following along, there's not much to follow along with, but if you've been following along, you would have seen my video from early this year where I was going over the 100 books that I read last year in 2024. The process of me like reading 100 books was actually quite daunting, and I had to make an entire almost like spreadsheet for it. And I got so overwhelmed and kind of over it from that experience. And I was so strict about it because I really, really wanted to hit that goal that I decided this year, 2025, I was not going to have a TBR at all. That I was just going to kind of go into this year and read whatever the hell I wanted to read and not think too much of it. There was certain things that I kind of had where I knew that I wanted to read. I knew I wanted to read bigger books because I didn't have a like actual goal for how many books I wanted to read. So I was like, if a book takes me a month to read, it's fine. So I did completely away with a TBR, and I realized I don't like that. This experience has showed me that I don't like that experience, and I do in fact want a TBR. So for the last 4 months of the year, I am going to have a TBR. It's not going to be too strict because it's for the entire like 4 months of the year. So whatever I end up reading is what I'm reading at whatever months that this ends up happening. I'm not going to be too strict on that. So here is the TBR that I have for the next 4 months. I have this broken up into 4 different categories. We have what's going to be off of my Kindle, what's my physical TBR, so books I obviously already own, what is going to be from the library, and what books do I plan on purchasing. So let's start with what is off my Kindle. So I have decided that I'm going to attempt to read Greek mythology again. I read Circe maybe 2 years ago, I think, and I thought it was fine. I didn't love it. I didn't think it was a bad book. I originally attempted to read it as like an ebook, and I didn't like that experience, so I ended up reading it on audio, which was a better experience, but it still wasn't like the best thing that I've ever read. But I've heard a lot about a few Greek mythology books that I feel like I might like them. So on the list we have Song of Achilles, which I guess, Ariadne, I guess, and Stone Blind, which is the only one I think I feel like out of all of them, I'm really going to like that one. And then I guess Song of Achilles afterwards. But I'm convinced Song of Achilles will not make me cry. I'm just convinced. It's untrue. If it's made everyone else cry, it will make me cry too. I'm a sap, but I'm convinced that I'm different. That I'm built different, and it's not going to make me cry. As far as my physical TBR, you guys have seen some of these books because I showed them in my last video. I think that could be a lie. Actually, that could be a lie. You might not have seen these books. Anyways, I plan on reading The Reformatory. This is for all my physical TBR, but I'm actually going to read it as an ebook because I just like can't be bothered. Like the idea of having to read a 500-page book physically kind of makes my like eczema flare up. Like it makes my skin itch, and I kind of hate it. And I really, really don't want to read it physically. So it is on my physical TBR because I do own it, but I don't plan on actually reading it physically, but it's still going to stay in this category because My Friends, I bought that recently. So I want to just read it before the year is over because I literally got it not too long after it came out. And I do have it in hardback, so it feels like it only makes sense for me to actually read that this year. And then we go into the Lily Reads book club books, which I almost always get physically unless I just for some reason can't find them physically, which has only happened like twice. So that's going to be Frequent Flyers, which I am in the middle of reading now. And by the time this video goes up, I may or may not have a review written out for it already. So there's that if you care. And then we also have Second Tide's the Charm, which is the book club pick for September. And then we don't know October and November yet. So those are going to be the other 2 books, whatever those are, when the time comes. And now let's talk about the library. So I have a few things on hold at the library. One of them was the Emily Wilde, like the other 2 books. I've already read the first Emily Wilde book, and I have it physically. And I read that 2 months ago, I think. So I figured I'd just finish out the series. I'm going to finish the 3rd book today. Pretty much an hour or 2 after I finish recording this, I'm probably going to finish that book. So I have both of the 2nd and 3rd book listed from the library, because when I made this list, I hadn't read those books yet. But I have essentially read both of those books. And then we have the new R.F. Kuang, Catabasis. So gonna get to that because I've had that on hold since January 30th. What? I've somehow had that on hold since January 30th, and that's kind of crazy, but it comes out on the 26th of this month. So once that comes out, hopefully the time will pass fast enough and I'll get it rather quickly, hopefully, especially because I kind of got in there early. And then we have Blood in the Water by Tiffany D. Jackson, which I might have mentioned in my last video, saying that I was excited for this to come out. I've already placed it on hold. It says it's going to take like 10 weeks, so we'll see, but obviously I have other books that I can read in that time frame. And then lastly, we have King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby. And this one is actually moving up real quick. So the girls are reading it quickly. So I might honestly be reading this next month. We'll see. But yeah, that's as far as everything for the library. And then lastly, we have books that I'm going to purchase. There is a book that I read last year, I think, by the YouTuber. What is her channel name? Pages of Haley? Is that right? It may or may not be. Her stuff will be on the screen. But she had she has a duology, and I read the first book. I thought it was fine. I also kind of feel like maybe my timing of reading that kind of ruined my experience. I think give it like 3 or 3.5 stars. But regardless, it's only a duology, so I'm like, I might as well read the other book. I don't lose anything really from reading the other book, and I own a hard copy of the first book, so I just might as well. So I'm going to pick that up from the library. I'm going to pick that up from Barnes and Noble at some point this year. I don't know when it comes out. I have it in like literally in my Barnes and Noble cart. And I might just do all of these books that I'm about to talk about as a pre-order because none of them are out yet, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So I'm definitely going to read that. And then I'm also going to read the 6th volume of The Summer Hikaru Died, because I've been keeping up with that series like crazy, but you guys already know that. And then the last book I have that I'm going to purchase is Hot Wax, because hopefully I like that better than Graveyard Shift. I kind of feel like I will like that better than Graveyard Shift, so I won't be mad if I have that I've paid my hard-earned money on that book. But yeah, that's my TBR. That's what it's looking like for the next couple of months. So if you guys want to see my thoughts on any of these books in real time, and follow me on Goodreads, that's where I'm the most active. But you can also follow me on Storygraph and on Fable, because I'm on Fable now, so that's fun. And you can also follow me on Apple Music if you want to see what I'm listening to, because I'm always listening to some good stuff. And you can also... what else can you do? You can follow my other channel, which I've only posted one video on there. And that was like maybe 4 months ago. Like commentary videos on books and anime. If that's your vibe, if that's something you're interested in, you can check me out over there. And I think that's it. So stop watching. Bye.